everybody, it's Jen with Caketastic Cakes, and I'm going to show you how I made this super cool Hocus Pocus cake of book. And even though this is a long video, I'm going to try to move quickly so we can kind of get through it. And also, please consider liking and subscribing because it helps with the YouTube algorithms, and my videos are kind of getting skunked because, I don't know, people watch them and they don't comment or like them. So if you could help me out, I'd appreciate it. All right, I had a rectangle cake. It was 2 layers of spice cake. It was a 9 by 13 pan that I had used. I made 2 of them. There it is, iced on my sheet. And I'm starting with gum paste. This is white gum paste that I rolled out to an even thickness. And it's really long, and I'm scoring it up with my knife to create kind of, well, page effect, to make it look like a bunch of pages laying on top of each other. I'm going to wrap it around my cake and just kind of press it into place, add a few more lines if I feel like it's not enough, and try to sharpen up my corners a little bit. It doesn't go all the way around, as you can see, but that's okay. That is a strip of beige fondant, by the way, that I had rolled and cut out just to make the bottom of the book. So like the bottom cover, bottom part of the cover of the book. Here's some more of the same fondant. It is just kind of like a beigey color. I'm going to end up adding food coloring on top of it, so I just wanted a base color. And you could, if you look at pictures of the book, you could see it's got like a lot of different shades and levels because it's supposed to be skin. So I was trying to start with my base lightest color and then I'll build up from there. I rolled out and cut out a rectangle, as you can see, just fold it over the back and onto the front and just kind of even stretch it out, make it cover everything nicely. I'm not worried about it being too even because the book is pretty rough. Now my fingers are just sausages of fondant that I made 3 lines and then curve the top, press it into the side of the spine of your book, and then I used my knife to add a few little knuckle wrinkles. There's 5 fingers, so make sure you do 5 of them. I think it's supposed to be a hand, so like the thumb is at the one end, you know, whatever. There's a little ridge that goes around each one where the skin was supposedly stitched on, and I just kind of smeared each edge of it into the... You're going to see it again here. I took a ridge of fondant, just a roll, and I'm pressing down on each side and blending it into the fondant that's already there, and that's going to create that seam of skin, and I'm going to do it on the other side too. You can see it doesn't stick perfectly, in which case you just put a little water on your paintbrush and put some water underneath wherever it's sticking up. It will soften it up, kind of melt it a little bit, and then you can blend it right in. And just like the book itself, I'm not worried about it being nice and even. I want it to be rough and strained looking. And I put a seam down the center because it's 2 pieces of skin coming together. All right, I jump around, so trying to keep up. I apologize. I don't know if I have ADHD or something, but I jump around a lot. Okay, so now I'm making the snake on the spine of the book. I have just a rectangle that I put a groove in, and I took a piece of tinfoil and roughed it all up. And the groove goes just inside the edge of all the way around. I'm using some black food coloring with a little bit of water to kind of tarnish it, to make it look more old and beat up. And then I'm going to take some edible silver shimmer powder, add a little bit of, I think I just used water, you could use vodka, whatever, to it, and highlighting it. So I've got the old metal that's kind of tarnished and aged look going. My piece here is just gradually getting bigger at the one end, and that's going to be the snake that goes on top. I just kind of shape a loose teardrop shape at the top because I'm assuming these are all venomous snakes, being a witch's spell book. And so, yeah, just taper the nose, make sure it flares out big, and then right into the neck. I put a little crease down the center of his head, gave him a couple of little eye holes, and when you lay him on that rectangle, make sure that you make them nice and wavy. I'm using the tip of a piping tip, the one that makes fur and grass, in order to give him his scales, just to rough him up. And then again, same thing with the black food coloring and a little bit of silver highlights. Stick them on there. And this is gum paste, by the way. I'm sorry if I didn't mention it. But yeah, the decorations here are gum paste. Okay, this is also more gum paste. These are the 2 corner pieces with the little snakes and their twisty spirals on it. Same thing. I made an edge. I roughed it up with my tinfoil. I tarnished it with some black food coloring, gave it silver highlights, silver metallic highlights, and then put them on the corner. I moved over to do those because I need them in place in order to space out where all the stitching is going to go. So I cut a hole in the center there For the eye, put a white piece of gum paste, put my green iris, and then I pressed down with the black to make a hole there, so now the pupil kind of sits in. I'm going around the edge of the eye with some brown. I'm using some brown and green food coloring marker to just give the iris some color and depth. Adding some red veins to the eyes because I feel like it's probably tired of all the stuff it's seen. I'm using little crescents of fondant here to give it the baggy eyelids that go around it. And I'm using my veining tool to just kind of press those wrinkles in. And I realized it needed like one more, so I just added one more above it. And I just love how this came out. I thought it looked so cool when it was all said and done. Okay, now I'm going to make, I don't know what you call it, the bracket, I guess, the lock that goes around the eye of the book. So I just have more gum paste here, cut out a circle, cut it just so I could make it into an oval. I've got my little rectangle there that I'm making a groove in. I'm pushing some holes down into it, into a pattern. And I realized that the book has changed. If you look at the book from the first one versus the second one, the lock is different, the coloring is different, so yeah. I was basing this off of the first Hocus Pocus, but it's a little bit different in the second Hocus Pocus, and I don't know. But anyway, I did the same thing. I had some gold that I put in the center of the lock there, and I'm using some more of the gold to go over the pages, because I feel like if this is a spell book, maybe it has a little gold leafing on it, because it would be kind of sacred to them, right? I'm putting some brown food coloring, using my food coloring marker and just blending it in just to make the pages look a little dingier, a little dirtier, that kind of thing. Okay, now I'm adding some more of the skin ridges, and I'm doing exactly like I did before. I have some watered down, you can see how wet and shiny it is. Blend the two sides in, make a seam down the center. Jumping around again, and I apologize, but this is kind of how I roll. Might have mentioned that already. The snakes were tough because they twist in a really weird way. So I rolled out a long piece, as you can see, and it's tapered. And I twisted it up till I got the right shape. I had a picture that I just worked and worked at. And then cut off the extra, make a snake head out of it, just like before, that teardrop shape. Used my tip again to make the scales, painted it with the tarnishing black and the silver, metallic silver, and put it on there. Their heads overhang onto the book, okay? Their heads like grip the book skin and pull, so you're going to see those pressure marks. This is just a rectangle with some angles going down. It's just the side lock, nice and easy. Pretty much the easiest thing on this whole entire book was that to make. Okay, more ridges. Be careful where you place them. This is not accurate 100%, but it's pretty darn close, which is all you need. No one's going to take a picture out of their pocket and compare it if you were to make this cake. So as long as you have the right overall effect and feel, you're golden. So yeah, some more ridges. You can see I have the seam going down the center. And for the snakes where they're pulling on the skin, as you can see, I took like a long piece and folded it in half. And then I'm blending the two ends out. And I'm also blending the far end out. So it kind of bunches up toward the mouth of the snake and then flares out as it goes out further. So the pulls get bigger as they go out further and then eventually just kind of blends in flat. This is what I did. I thought it worked pretty well. If you have a better way of doing it, let me know in the comments because I always like to hear, how I could do better next time. Okay, getting back to my fingers on the spine, I realized that they aren't just sitting there. They're actually like the skin of the fingers that are supposed to be pulled and blended into the book. So I just took a thin piece of fondant, and put it around the edges and then blended it in to make it merge together. Okay, this is maroon colored food coloring that I mixed with water. And I really, really focused on the seams, anywhere where the big wrinkles were. I left the centers, as you can see, kind of open. I'm highlighting the actual seams themselves with brown food coloring. And just to make it, again, a little bit more aged looking. And then kind of blended it together. So that's what I did. Yeah. This is just some light yellow, real light yellow gum paste rolled real thin, cut into little wedges, little tiny pieces to make the stitching, and I just folded it over top of each other. The stitches on the top of the book are bigger than the ones that go around the fingers, and the ones around the fingers are supposed to be a lot more and closer together, but man, I was sick of stitches by that point. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I'm brushing over the stitches with some more of the maroon food coloring to tarnish them. And there it is in all of its glory. It came out really great. I was really happy with it. I didn't want to give it to the person who ordered it because I just liked it so much. It's like, no, you can't eat it. But yeah, there it is. So that's what I did. I hope this video helps you. I hope you like it. If you do like it, please like and subscribe. Again, that helps me out. That helps me out with my algorithms and everything here on YouTube. I've got a lot of other videos out there, so please take a look. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.